One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Right Choice Senior Living. This is the Fire Disaster Preparedness series that we're doing. First of all, I want to really give kudos and take my hat off to two very special team members who have done a phenomenal job with taking us on a journey of what fire safety, fire preparedness is all about. I want to recognize Mari. I want to recognize Natalie. For some of you who don't know, we embarked on this journey to make Right Choice safer in the area of fire preparation and evacuation a little over a month and a half ago. And it was just a thought. And the reason for that thought, to be quite honest, I don't know if you guys recall the big fires that we had in Hawaii, the great state of Hawaii, where the whole island essentially burned down. And when I saw that on TV, I don't watch a lot of news, but the first thing in my mind was, I wonder if there are any assisted living care homes on that island. And the next question I had in my mind is, I wonder how the staffs, the administrators, the leadership responded to that fire. Were they prepared to save the lives of the residents that they care for? And so from that idea, talking with Mari, talking with Natalie, they have done just a tremendous job in getting us to just a thought to now where we're crossing the finish line and getting ready for an actual drill. Okay. So thank you, Mari. I thank you, Natalie, for all your dedication, your tireless effort in making us safer, not just our residents safer, but also making our staff members safer. Why is disaster preparedness important? Well, let's be honest, folks. Most of what we do in our care settings, although it's a home, we're dealing with safety issues, food safety, medication safety, right? Building safety, and fire safety. If you really think about most of what we deal with in rendering care to our residents has some component of safety. We all must be prepared to respond, to protect as many lives as we care for. You never know if and when that day is coming when you may be called to save lives. If you stay ready, well, guess what? We don't have to get ready. And it is the right choice philosophy. It is the right choice attitude. It is my responsibility to ensure that you and everyone that is part of our team is prepared and stays ready. You are the first responder in any kind of crisis and emergency that may occur in any of our care homes. What is a first responder? You are the first person that has to solve the problem that may arise unexpectedly on your ship. It is my job to ensure that you are prepared for successful outcomes. Again, you will not have time to call me. You will not have time to call Natalie or Mari or Marilyn or some of the other leaders in our organization. You need to make sure that you are prepared to respond to the fire or to any crisis, again, with the sole intent of saving as many lives as possible. When we're dealing with fire safety, we have what we call the big three. Well, what's the big three? You as a first responder need to be prepared to put out the fire. Line on sight. That means if you see it happening in front of your eyes, you have the responsibility to try to take it out. We have fire extinguishers in each of our communities. It is important that you know where those fire extinguishers are. And more importantly, it's important that you know how to use those. And we're going to ensure that you're ready to use them and to be a first responder. Make no mistake about it. You're not going to be able to wait for San Diego Fire Department to come through those doors to put out a fire. You're going to have to be prepared to do your job to put out the fire with the equipment that we have in each of our facilities. When you're on your shift, you need to know where those extinguishers are. You need to know what are the risks and where are the risks that may occur in our setting. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. I'm a little late. Here's just the slide that we just went over. Again, stay ready. You're the first responder. It's all about you and saving lives. Safety is really a team effort. It is a team sport, and it's an attitude sport. We're only going to be as strong as the weakest team member amongst us. The best way to prepare for a fire, I think we could all agree, is what? To prevent it. And that comes to you on your shift. You need to know where you are. You need to make sure that you don't put the house, the community at risk, making sure that there are no burnable, flammable products near stoves. You need to identify safety hazards when you see them and report that to your chain of command immediately so we can correct that problem and minimize the risks of any negative outcomes of fire occurring. When we give you assignments to do, whether or not it's the assignments that you guys did such a great job in preparing for the fire preparedness evacuation drill, you need to take these drills seriously. You need to do your job, not some of the time, you need to do your job all of the time. You need to lead by example. Once you are equipped with the knowledge of how to be prepared, you need to ensure that you make sure that that knowledge is being carried out, and that for the new folks that come into our organization, they know what our expectations are. Make no mistake about it. The new hires, folks that come into our environment, the right choice culture, they're looking up to you to do the right thing. So be prepared. It says a lot about yourself as a professional if you're prepared. My overall observations of the worksheets are as follows. I think the way that Maury and Natalie prepared these worksheets and took us on this journey for fire preparedness, I was fairly impressed of what I saw and the kind of answers and responses that we got. One of the things that I really want to emphasize when we start to look at safety and we do safety training is understand that we are a why organization. I try to tell everybody there's a reason why we do everything that we do. There's a reason why we have to cover food and put labeling before we put that food in the refrigerator. There's a reason why we do buddy checks. There's a reason why we have caringdata.com now to be able to document activities of daily living and issues for our clients. The why is important, just as important as just doing it. You got to understand why you're doing it. Overall, I thought the worksheets and where we are now, you guys exhibited and displayed a great team effort. But make no mistakes about it, at Right Choice, we have very high standards. We have a long ways to go. So this is just the beginning, but I'm confident that if you go on this journey with us, you're going to be confident in your ability to carry out your duties as a caregiving professional. Also, too, one of the things that I want to emphasize when it comes to this training or anything that we do at Right Choice, it is important and imperative that you always ask for help if there's something relative to fire safety or any aspect of your job. You need to either ask myself or someone in our organization that you feel can confidently give you an answer. Asking for help, I think, shows a lot of humility. If you don't ask for help, you're probably going to get the answer wrong. But if you just open your mouth, reach out for help, we're all caregivers. We have a spirit to help people. So if you ask, you shall receive. When it comes to the tasks that we are giving you, please ask for help if you don't understand. I want to take time right now to give kudos, special recognition to a couple of folks that I observed, as well as Maury, Natalie, and Marilyn, and how you guys performed the assignments for fire safety. One of the things that we observed is, Maria, you did a fantastic job in asking for help, right? There were certain questions certain scenarios that you didn't quite understand for whatever reason, you showed a lot of professional maturity in reaching out to ask for help. And that is commendable. Jorge, hola hermano, you did a fantastic job working with a number of team members and helping to translate some of those questions so there was better understanding, better comprehension. I was thoroughly impressed. Natalie was thoroughly impressed. Mari was impressed, brought it to my attention as well. Thank you for leading by example. Thank you for working with the team members to help them complete that assignment. Hannah, you did a wonderful job in reading the questions that were given in the assignment and answering the questions thoroughly. Thank you for taking such a wonderful and great attitude and taking this assignment seriously. We commend your professionalism and thank you very much. Lastly, Lila. Lila over in La Mesa. She doesn't get out often to other locations, but you did a masterful job in helping others get through this assignment. It showed a lot of leadership upon your part, showed a lot of care, that you weren't just cared about you completing the assignment, you cared about your teammates and making sure that they were successful. You worked extremely hard in answering those questions to the best of your ability, and you got most of those questions right. You approached the assignment, Lila, with what we call the right attitude. And again, safety is about having the right attitude. Being a professional is about having the right attitude. You demonstrated a tremendous amount of professionalism. It was a stellar effort upon your part. Thank you for leading by example. We're now going to go into some of the scenarios and go through some of the worksheet questions to ensure that everybody has a full understanding of those scenarios, that we all collectively understand the optimal and best ways to respond to the various fire scenarios that we may exhibit or experience in our communities. But before we do that, I really want to emphasize one key building component that is present in each of our communities that will help for you to save lives, minimize damage, and minimize harm. I'm not sure if you're aware that in most of our communities, we have fire doors that are located in the hallways. These doors are not there for decoration. They're strategically put in place to ensure that fires do not spread to the sleeping areas, and not just fire, also smoke. For those of you who've ever experienced a fire scenario, you will soon come to the realization that it's not just the fire that can get you, it's the smoke. And it's imperative that those fire doors are closed during an actual fire so that the smoke does not spread to the rest of the sleeping areas and into the rooms of our residents, which many do have respiratory malfunctions or issues. And so it's not just the fire we're concerned about, it's the smoke. So please be aware of where those doors are located, understand why they're there. And in the event you have to evacuate, it is imperative that those doors are closed and sealed to minimize the spread of fire and smoke. Now, with all that being said, we're going to go through each of the scenarios. Our first scenario that we're going to go over is the La Mesa scenario. So I'm going to turn this over to, is it Mari or Natalie? Who's doing the La Mesa drill?
I can do it. I don't see the La Mesa slide up right now.
Do you see, did it just stop? It says your screen sharing. Natalie, can you see it?
I can see the screen.
Right now it's on. Right now it's on overall observations. Right now it's on overall observations.
For you, you don't see La Mesa? 3 is the magic number?
No.
Okay. Can you see 4949?
No.
Are you sliding through them? No.
Yeah, I'm sliding through them.
It's stuck on overall.
On overall, what is this? Overall
observations.
Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to stop screen share. I'm going to continue screen share again. Okay, can you see kudos?
Yes.
Can you see fire doors?
Yes.
Okay, can you see La Mesa now?
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so one of you two, if you'd like to kind of go through with us, kind of what you observed with the La Mesa scenario, make sure that we have a better understanding of how we should respond to that.
For La Mesa, for what I noticed overall, that seemed to be the most complicated one scenario in terms of how many questions I decided to put on that one. But
Could you, on this one, could you go over the scenario? What was the scenario for La Mesa? Just give us a quick.
I try to make it more so like how do you call it? Like what can happen not just like by the residents here, but like, you know, just something like putting something in the microwave. So I created an electrical fire scenario.
Okay.
Um, so for that one, I made it like someone put something in the microwave and the outlets were worn out, and that it just started to the fire started to spread really quick.
Okay.
And I just kind of wanted to know like what the steps would be in containing it. That was one of my questions that I made, and you know what steps you can do, which is kind of like what the problem that was with the internet. Like if you looked it up, it was stating that you should probably turn off the breakers and stuff, but in reality, like a spot like the RCFE setting, you'd probably not want to do that first. You'd probably want to contain it, go straight for the extinguisher first, rather than going for the breaker like it says on Google.com.
Okay.
So that one, I think it was a variable. I've seen a lot of different answers.
Okay.
But I feel like they're kind of getting the right idea. Yeah, I've seen some breaker answers, and then I've seen some going straight for either 911 or going straight for the extinguisher. So that one was a little variable with that question.
What was, I mean, what should be, I mean, if I recall the scenario correctly, it stated there was a fire coming from the outlet receptacle, right?
Yeah,
Anytime we see a fire that is starting, what should immediately come to mind?
to put it out.
Okay. And so I think that's very important that in most of these scenarios, we need to be again aware that as first responders, right, we need to, if possible, put out that fire. Yes, we're not trained firefighters, but we will be trained in fire extinguisher use. And that may be the best way for you to save not just lives, but save, houses. I don't know if you guys recall in the last training, fires move very quickly. So anything else, Mario?
Oh yeah, so I've seen also besides containing it, number 8 seemed to be the most confusing. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of like, okay, the fire's already spread. What is your opinion, and what do you think is like right away? What are you gonna do? So that one was probably a little confusing, but I'll just go over it. Like you said, once it starts, you're just trying to end it right away because it can spread in seconds, not and then it takes a while to get everyone out and stuff like that. So you're trying to move quick. So you rather contain it, like you said, prevent it before it spreads.
Okay.
Or stop it before it spreads.
Okay. And
which
in
is gonna require, yeah.
And in the event you get to the point where you make a determination that you're either running out of the material in the fire extinguisher or the fire is spreading faster, than you're able to contain it, then what is the next step that we probably need to really start thinking about? And why is that important, the next step?
The next step, and sorry, say it one more time.
If we make a determination that we can't put out the fire, what is the next step? Why is that important? What is the next step in the process if you cannot put out the fire?
If we cannot put out the fire, then it's to evacuate. And press the button, the distress button first.
Okay, now what is that button?
Moving.
What is that? We're pressing button. What are we trying to do with pressing buttons? What is that?
We're pressing the panic button that's located at each house on the monitor there.
Okay, what is that going to do by pressing the button?
it's going to alert the fire department, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, right. If you didn't press the panel, what other communication tools could you use to call for help?
The phone.
Okay, and who would you call if you're under
911.
Okay, right. So
right away. That's
okay.
something that, yeah, calling other people is not going to benefit you in
Okay.
that time if it's something you can't contain.
Okay. Who shouldn't you call first in most of these
Any of
scenarios?
us,
Right.
any of
And
the
again,
bosses or family members,
okay.
anything along those lines.
Very good. Very good. Again, communication in anything in life is important. If you come to the determination that this thing is getting out of control, it is essential that you contact for help, ask for help, just like asking for help in your what? Homework assignments or job related duties. Ask for professional help, right? Either use 911 if your phone happens to be on your personal present. If it's not on your body, then we have the alarm panels in each house that has a distress button. If you hit that button, it automatically is going to dispatch the firefighters to come. And the reason why that's important is understand in a fire, things are moving extremely fast. Fires spread very quickly. So the faster you reach out for professional help, the better you're going to be positioned in saving lives and saving what? The home. So, and then what's the third step, Mari, that we should be focusing on
Sorry.
in the 3-step process?
Okay, so we're on the distress one. Okay, so then that would become, you're just trying to evacuate everyone out, but in that process, you should be thinking about who goes first to last.
Okay, good.
Which is
so your
someone who's
evacuation
more,
order.
yeah. So the evacuation order, which had pretty much a lot of people did very well on that as well. So
Okay.
the idea is to have the most independent go first.
Okay.
Since they are able to, they require less help in their ambulatory, so they would go first, and then from there on, it will go to, if the rest are still in wheelchairs, then we'll go to who can actually be transitioned quicker, transferred
Okay.
quicker. Yeah, and also it helps it too if, let's say you're in a scenario where you have 2 wheelchairs, but one is closer to the safest exit. You probably choose that person.
Okay.
For before.
Okay. Good. One of the things that Mari had mentioned in having a successful evacuation, you got to think about when you come on shift, you've got to think about these things like all the time, right? It almost has to be in your soul and your subconscious, in your spirit, in your mind. When you come on shift, you need to know who's what, bedridden, who's ambulatory, able to walk, who's wheelchair, and also be mindful those who are even in walkers who move slow because fires move quick, smoke moves quick. You may need to make a determination on your shift or us collectively as a team to ensure that we have either wheelchairs, right, present near folks for what? Fast egress, right? So if you take someone who even walks with a wheelchair slowly, be mindful that you have to get that person from the facility outside and to the collection point. And if that person walks slow, it may make more sense to use a wheelchair. And if you feel that based upon your experience in dealing with our clients, then we need to pre-position those wheelchairs in everyone's room. So, okay, question 8. What was going on with question 8? I saw a lot of different varying answers for question 8. What was the deal with question 8 at La Mesa?
I think another one, that one was probably more so a little bit confusing because it had a lot of bullet points, so it could have been mistaken as like a formative, because I see a lot of different things. Some people are asking questions about each of the bullet points that were there meant to arrange. So I seen some people asking some questions about the arrangement that I put on there. And then other people that kind of got the idea a little bit, but I feel like it was a little confusing from what I saw. I don't remember. One of the papers were actually saying to speak to the fire department like beforehand, which is like the last step. And then I noticed one person got 100%
So
on that one.
what was the right? Could you just briefly go over what is the right or should be the right kind of order for that question? And could you kind of just walk us through the question and say, okay, this should have been the order, and so we can better understand.
Okay, let me grab one of the examples on my phone. Pull up one of the examples. Give me 1 second. Okay. So for this one, it was mentioning call 911, someone take the lead, gather a collection point. Hold on, sorry.
So I see here, call 911 and press the button on the alarm. Someone take lead to give instructions to have staff visitors evacuate residents, identify which residents need the least / most assistance, gather at collection point. When safely evacuated, do a head count and speak to the fire department and answer questions.
Yeah, I just got it to pop up. Sorry, it's the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So basically with that one, the first one would have been call 911 and press distress button located on the wall.
Okay.
Then the next one would have been identify which residents need the least to most assistance.
Okay.
And then someone take the lead, give instructions to staff visitors to evacuate residents.
Okay.
Or wait, yeah. And then
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And it was to prevent the spread, to keep unassisted residents' doors closed. And that was more so for the smoke spread, for the residents you can't assist right away.
So there's, when we talk about smoke, the spread of smoke, there are two ways to minimize the spread of smoke in the sleeping areas. One is that fire door that I talked about before, and then it should also be the resident rooms, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a very important part. Again, we got to be mindful. It's not just the fire, the hot flames that will, interfere with our ability to evacuate. It's also the smoke. So,
yeah, because I think that's like the silent killer. The smoke is actually going to get you before. Sometimes, most likely, it's the fire. I mean, the smoke becomes before the fire to actually like get you to like pass out because you start inhaling it all in your lungs and stuff like that.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Should we ever allow other residents that are higher functioning to participate and to help other residents evacuate from the building?
Should we allow?
Yeah, should we allow, like, say someone like John K, he's a pretty good walker. You're in a stressful condition, you're trying to evacuate. John K comes to you, you're on shift and says, hey, I can help you. Tell me what to do. Should we allow residents to participate in the evacuation? If so, why? And if not, why?
I would say no, but I know someone like along Sonia would probably still try.
Okay.
Yeah, because I could
Okay.
see that being an issue here at La Mesa.
Okay. So and the reason why I ask, it's always inherent in our spirits, especially as Americans. We watch all these superhero movies and everybody wants to save the world.
Yeah,
It's part of our nature. But again, your goal is to save as many lives as possible, right? Um, Trying to go back in and help others may compromise the person who's in pretty good shape, right? So
yeah,
again, the lesson to all of this is know your residents, not just physically, but their psychological well-being. And if they
yeah,
have
exactly.
spirit in them, if they have that spirit of I'm going to protect and I'm here, you need to make sure you think about that beforehand. But in general, your goal is to get out as many people out of that building and to save lives. Tell them in a very firm and forceful voice, you need to go to the collection point and wait for further instructions, right? Do
Yes,
not lean on residents to be part of the response to a fire. I want to make sure I'm very clear on that. In the event that some of our folks that have dementia are confused, so help us God, that the right message comes into your brain to be able to deal with that. Because in real life, someone with dementia may not be able to follow through with what? Instructions. And you may have to,
instruction.
you might have to find a creative way to have that individual get out of the building. So, all right.
Yeah, that's why I use Sonia as an example because even naturally here,
Uh-huh.
she's trying to help, throughout her daily, trying to help like a resident like Chris, like, oh, you need help getting up, oh, do you need me to grab your plate? So I can already see that being an issue here during a fire and evacuation.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. People with
Yeah,
dementia and their spirits feel strong. It's just their minds
yeah,
and their
because they
bodies.
still think like, yeah, they're back in their time, able to do whatever, and if she was in her time, she'd probably be one of them to try to save the day.
Right. Okay. All right. So I think this is gonna move a little quicker. I think the La Mesa one, again, uh, your goal is not to turn off the circuit breakers. Your goal is to put out the fire first, right? You can turn off the circuit
Yes,
breakers after things have settled down, after you assess whether or not you need to evacuate, but you will not have time to go to the outside circuit breaker while there's a fire coming out of the receptacle. If you just think about that in real terms, right? Again, follow the three-step process. Try to put out the fire. If you can't do that, call for help. And if once you call for help, the clock is ticking, make sure you start to evacuate people. Make sure that the fire doors are closed. Make sure the resident room doors are closed. Make sure that the wheelchairs are pre-positioned to be able to expedite getting people out. Um, can you guys see the next one, scenario 4949 on your screen?
yes.
Okay, who's got 4949? If we could just kind of go through that and what the main issues were, and what the lessons learned on that scenario are.
Okay. Okay, so 4949 scenario is a grease fire spread in the kitchen and
I can barely see
caregiver
you.
left.
Can you
Can you see me?
fix your Zoom camera? There you go. I can see it. Okay.
Can you see me? Okay. Um, so grease fire spread in the kitchen, 4949, and caregiver left hot frying oil on the stove while attending to a resident. So the main thing is for grease fire, not to use water to put out a grease fire because it'll spread.
Okay.
So that's important to know.
Okay.
And the safest exit routes for where the fire is, because a lot of people, they use the different exit routes for the house, but you need to know the safest exit route for
Okay.
the most preservation of life.
Okay.
Um, and make sure the fire door is closed. So at 4949, the safest would be Mike's room.
Yep. Okay.
Close the fire door and exit everyone out through there.
Okay.
What else?
Well, at 4949, what other doors or what other rooms have doors that would aid and assist in evacuation at 4949?
John P. John
Yeah,
K.
John P and John K. And we know that John P obviously is, pretty much, he's in the bed a lot. So again, if fire occurs in the kitchen, make sure that the hallway door is closed and make sure John P. and John K's, that fire door is closed as well. Right. So anything else with 4949 that you saw?
No, that and with the collection point, for the most part, everyone answered that correct. You know, the evacuate or the collection point for 4949 is 4929.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
Again, a collection point is just an area where we're all gathering, so we can take account as to who has successfully gotten out of the building, right? And also, too, when people arrive, responders, firefighters, police, paramedics, what have you, they can come to one place and what? Assess everybody's health. You don't have people scattered all over the neighborhood or all over the grounds of the property. You can come to that one location. Be mindful that with folks with dementia, that when you tell them to go out there, especially on night shift, where there only may be one person on night shift, imagine telling someone like Aaron, I need you to stay here. I got to go inside and go what? Rescue some more folks, right? You're going to have to start to think about this in real time, that you may need to, flag down cars, neighbors to say, hey, can you watch this guy? I got to go back inside. Because if you go back inside, Aaron, we all know Aaron, we don't know what his mind is thinking if he sees smoke and, he's going to be agitated and confused. So just understand collection points are areas to marshal and gather, but understand with the dementia component, it may be a little bit more difficult. All you can do is try your best. Right? Do you guys have anything else to add with 4949? Okay. Can you see Radcliffe on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, who's got Radcliffe scenario?
I could do Radcliffe.
Okay, and again, just kind of go over what the scenario involved and just kind of some common issues and answers or things that we can improve on with Radcliffe.
For Radcliffe, it was saying the AC unit. The electrical wires are old and overloaded. You smell smoke and see the outlet in the living room next to patio sliding door smoking with flames coming out of it, but it has not yet spread and is manageable. What do you do next?
Okay. So the key word in that scenario is, as I read it, it says flames are coming out of it, but is yet not spread and is manageable. So it sounds like in the scenario, you created a scenario where there's a chance the fire could be put out, correct?
Yes.
So in that case, did you get for that call 911 first, or did you pull the fire extinguisher and try to put out the fire? What did you see in most of the responses that people gave?
And most of the responses for this one,
yeah, did you see that a lot of people just say call 911 immediately, or did they say, pick up the fire extinguisher and put that sucker out?
I think a lot of people put the fire extinguisher.
Okay, so that's good. So you think that people kind of understood?
Yeah,
okay.
That one kind of varied. I think it was more so 50-50. Some people had the 911 first, and then some people were saying to use the extinguisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think the collection point for this one was a little bit, again, varied with the answer.
Why do you think there was a variability in the answer for the collection point for Radcliffe?
I think because some people were thinking, like, have the fire department, like, travel to the fire department. In reality, in that type of setting, you just have to be the closest away from the fire to collect everybody. But I seen something about a fire department.
Okay.
For one of the answers.
Do you think there was confusion on what a collection point is? Because I know in our previous
there's probably a little bit of confusion.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys had done some other videos where you kind of showed a map of where those collection points for each house is located. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Natalie, is that correct? That the prior videos that we asked. So I think in this case, we're trying to, crawl before we walk, walk before we run. It's important that everybody pays attention to the information and training we send you. If you were confused on a collection point, that was addressed, right, in other videos that were developed, right? In any event, you missed it or whatever, you could always ask. A collection point, again, is just an area near the community to be able to gather everyone so you could take account of where everyone is and if everybody's safe. Okay, that's what a collection point is. It's going to be as far away from the actual fire in the building. And in most cases, it's going to be 1 to 2 houses, either left or right, of each of our locations. Am I saying that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And again, it's a place where you can do a head count. You can make sure nobody's respiratory issues are causing them to have a panic attack or heart attack. You can try to assess, and then also too, when your neighbors, who are also now can be responders, if they see something happening. I mean, most people, if you drive in a neighborhood, you see a burning building, it's going to be our natural instincts to stop. And I hope to God you don't pull out your camera and record that you actually try to help, which in today's age, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people want to pull out a camera and get clicks, but naturally people want to help. So if you gather at the collection point, people are going to come to the collection point, and their natural instincts of survival will kick in to try to help and assist you. So anything else on Radcliffe?
A lot of people got the order pretty much correct for this house.
Okay.
From the evacuation list, like from the residents, who
Okay.
go first and to last.
All right. All right. Okay, moving on. 4929. Who has 4929 scenario? We could just recap it and just kind of go over some areas that we can improve in and make sure everybody understands that scenario.
Okay. All right, I'll do it. So 4929 scenario is you are working at 4929 day shift. While cooking lunch, you hear Mark ring his bell. You drop the dish towel on the counter and go to the bathroom to change him. You walk back to the kitchen to find a fire has started and has already spread to the window curtains, growing and uncontainable. So for this one, and I get it's confusing, a lot of people were saying to grab the fire extinguisher and try to put it out. But if it's growing and it's not containable, trying to grab the fire extinguisher is just, going to be a waste of time because you're not going to be able to put it out. So you need to be able to quickly assess if you're able to put it out, or if not, you go straight to evacuating and pressing, press the panic button on the wall to alert the fire department and start evacuating.
Good. The reason I like this one, and I like the scenario, I like all this. I think you guys did a great job at all the scenarios, because these could be real life kind of scenarios. But what I want to emphasize again is having that attitude of excellence. Make sure we are thoroughly reading and understanding the question. Right there were a couple of words in that scenario that were there intentionally designed to steer your answer. She said that the fire had already spread and it was out of control. Let's think about that. If a fire is out of control, one extinguisher is not going to get it in control. I think we'd all agree. And at that point, your instincts, your training, your knowledge needs to immediately kick in that I need to what? Go the 3-step process. I need to contact 911. And then I need to make sure I start the evacuation procedures. I need to know the order of evacuation, and all doors, fire door, resident room doors, need to be closed to minimize smoke, the spread of smoke and fire.
Spread.
And the spread. So I think that's one of the things in me reading some of the answers. I think we need to all just make sure we, read, understand, read, right? And even if you speak a different language, I think we're starting to become a lot more comfortable using translators, right? But again, anything else with that scenario, Natalie, on 4929?
Let's see. No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, those were
All right. Did we do
pretty
Cascade?
straightforward.
Did we
No.
do Cascade?
No.
Where's Cascade?
No.
I don't see. I saw La Mesa. Where's Cascade? Is it in here? La Mesa, 4949. Radcliffe, 4929. Okay. So
There's no Cascade.
Cascade. Could we go over a little bit? I don't have it. Apologize, the slide is not here, but we can talk about Cascade. If someone can give us the Cascade scenario and just kind of go through what that issue was. And I like this one because we do have people that come to our facilities who smoke. And that is a high risk factor, right? We need to be mindful of who smokes at Cascade and other houses. And we need to also remember that some of those folks that smoke have what? Dementia, have forgettable moments, not some of the time, but all of the time. We need to know who those residents are. And if any time you feel they could be at a risk of harming themselves with the cigarettes, you need to say something, right? But going to Cascade, if you guys kind of, one of you kind of go over that and what you found with the Cascade scenario.
Oh yeah, so it says you're working Cascade night shift at 7:30 p.m. Irene goes outside to smoke. She tosses her cigarette on grass instead of using her ashtray and goes to bed. You smell smoke. You smell smoke. You walk into the living room to find a fire blazing outside, spreading through lawn, plants, and next to the dining sliding door.
Okay. So this was basically just, someone's taking a smoke, throwing a cigarette butt or whatever. The fire starts to spread. What were some of the issues that you found? Did people answer this pretty correctly, or were there some confusions as to how to respond, what to do first? What did you find in that one?
That one, a lot of people got number 2 correct. A lot of people put, call you after, if time permits.
Okay, but you said number 2, they got it correctly in identifying who to call?
If time permits was to call you if time permits, and I've seen a lot of that as the answer.
Okay. Did you find that a lot of people's first answer was call Todd first, call Mari first, call Natalie first, or call 911, get the alarm panel? What did you find on that one?
For the time permits, it was a lot of Todd.
Okay.
Was the answer.
Okay. So I'm glad we're talking about this. Again, our whole goal for this journey of preparedness is to build everyone's confidence and understanding of how the flow of response should be. I know a lot of your natural instincts is to want to call Todd first. And if you can't call Todd, you'll call the next 3, Mari, Marilyn, or Natalie. But what I want everyone to understand, that when a real life situation like a fire exists, your response, if you can't put out the fire first, is to call the professionals next. I'm not a trained firefighter. I am a caregiver who has a basic understanding on procedures to respond to save as many lives as the fire exists. But I think when we call for resident falls and for respiratory issues, the firefighters respond pretty quick, yes? Would you folks agree that in our system, that if you call 911 and you say fire, Natalie, let me ask you, how long do you think it would take for them to show up based on our system of fire response and how many fire stations we have in our communities? How long do you think?
I would say about 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes at the most. And we understand that how fast, based on the video we saw a week ago, 5 minutes doesn't take long for stuff to spread. So again, understand it's going to take some time. They will be there. Be mindful. Your goal is to get as many people out of that building as possible. For those that are hard to transfer, let's take Cascade, for example. Polly, Demetrio, Dan, right? There's a lot of folks that are, it's going to be tough at Cascade to transfer folks and to get them out. We all need to understand, get the folks out, Charles, Irene, right? Get them out. So when the firefighters come, they can deal with the what? Dan. They can deal with the what? Polly. Right? But you have to start that clock as soon as you can. As soon as you recognize a problem, you must reach out and call for help. Can't emphasize that enough. And then after you make that call, you immediately start to what? Prepare the building for evacuation. Make sure the fire door is closed. Make sure the resident rooms are closed. Again, same concepts. You will not have time to call me. The right time to call me is when you have the situation as much under control as you possibly can. You should not be calling me when you're evacuating. Oh my God, Todd, there's a fire here, and and you're breathing hard, and it sounds like a horror movie. No, you have to what? Focus on your task, then you call, right? So, anything else on Cascade before we go through the next slide of ground rules, and then we're going to end this this video, and we're going to send this out for everybody to watch again live. If you have any questions on anything in the slide, please ask for help, because from my experience, we've gone through the process of educating, reinforcing all these concepts of fire disaster preparedness, but now we've got to test folks in the real world. We're going to actually do a fire drill, right? And here are some of the ground rules. When we do fire drills, first you need to understand it can happen at any time. At any time. You need to what? Stay ready. You need to be ready. On every time you come on a shift, you need to be thinking of safety issues for the day. Who's in my facility on my shift? What is their current ambulation status? Do I have what? Wheelchairs and other assistive devices pre-positioned? That is your job. That is your responsibility. Have the right attitude when you walk into those doors, when it's lights, camera, and action. Be safe during the fire drill, especially at nighttime where visibility will be limited. I would highly recommend that you either know how to use your flashlights on your cell phones, or you know where the night lights are for the outside. Make sure you can hit those buttons. Understand it's going to be dark for those who, get the fire drill at night. So be mindful. We don't want anyone to get hurt. And as such, for those who are bedridden or on hospice, we're not going to ask you to evacuate those folks for obvious reasons, right? But we want you to be prepared to talk us through how you would evacuate and what some of the considerations may be in evacuating that person. Okay? For folks that are difficult to transfer, for instance, at Cascade, Daniel, Enos, or for someone at 4929, Mark. If you're the only one there, you need to be prepared to talk about how you would deal with that. You need to say, based upon my evacuation priority, Daniel would probably be last. My thought process would be to contact the fire department to get that clock going, to evacuate everyone else out safely as I can. As the firefighters arrive, tell them that we have a difficult, heavy-set gentleman in room 3, and assist the firefighters in doing their job, right? They're going to go in that room and they'll figure it out. Polly's room, they'll figure out how to evacuate those folks. Everyone is going to go through this drill. Every single one of our team members will be tested. So you need to be ready. Now, you guys may ask, well, how's that possible? Well, we're going to be doing these fire drills over the next few weeks and the next few months. And again, my philosophy is we as observers are going to give you these fire drills when you least expect it, because that's when, I think you would all agree, when stuff happens, when you least what? Expect it.
Expected.
And understand your goal is not to get this perfect. The key word in all this is fire drill, fire exercise. Does not say fire reality, right? Our job is to prepare you through drills and exercises so you're prepared for the real deal. So don't expect to be perfect. Don't expect that you're going to get it right. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, but you're going to learn. We're all going to learn from each other's mistakes so we can be stronger. It has just been my experience that the best teacher of success is failure. So sometimes we're going to have to just, learn. We're going to record these fire drills so that you can see and learn from others what? Mistakes. We're not trying to pinpoint or identify anybody as really, messing it up. We're all in this together, because I think you would agree, when the dust settles, if everybody walks out of that building alive, we're all going to be what? Smiling.
Mm-hmm.
You leave someone behind, there's going to be a lot of what? Sad eyes, right? Let's not have the sad eyes. Let's make sure we do everything we can to get as many people safe as possible. Again, this drill is going to be unannounced. It'll be a number of scenarios. We'll walk into the building as observers, right? We're not there to help you. We're there to guide you during the exercise and the drill. You need to, once we say, here's the scenario, go, the clock ticks, and we what? Start rolling the cameras in the video. Okay? As a general rule, on average, I want everybody to be thinking this in their minds, because time is of the essence. Just a fancy word is you got to move, with a little bit of intent and with a little bit of speed, but obviously you don't want to compromise anybody's safety. For those who can walk ambulatory, you need to get them to the collection point within 1 minute. For those who are non-ambulatory, wheelchairs, walkers, other assistive devices, 2 minutes, okay? And for folks that are difficult transfers, 3 minutes plus. So again, try to get out those who are easier first and as fast as you can, so you can have more time to deal with the what? More difficult folks. All right, that ends this presentation, this training series. I want to thank everybody for their hard work and taking these assignments and taking this journey serious. Now it's time for us to really test what we know and to incorporate a little bit of stress, because it is my experience that if you're stressed during an exercise and a drill and you know what to do, when the real thing comes, you'll know what to do. Before I end this, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for working at Right Choice Senior Living. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your service and your commitment to serve our clients. I also want to thank all of you who were with us from day one with COVID. Be proud of your accomplishments through COVID. You've learned a lot. You've got tough skin. So I'm confident we're going to be able to get through this fire drill and this fire exercise very successfully. But thank you for allowing us to lead you, to show you, to guide you. Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Natalie, for all your hard work and your dedication in making this happen. Again, this is all through your efforts. Without you, we're not here. And I can honestly say we're better prepared today because of each of you two and what you've done. I take my hat off to you. I love you. Thank you. With that being said, is there any closing remarks that you folks would like to say before we sign off?
No, I'd like to say I'm thankful for everyone's effort in completing each task and watching each video and kind of just retaining it, the information given.
Okay.
Natalie,
Natalie,
and then if no, yeah, everybody did a good job really asking questions, wanting to understand. So I encourage everyone, questions with anything, ask, and we're here to help. So
Yeah. All right. With all that be saying, I wish everybody a wonderful and beautiful day. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So let's be ready. Let's stay ready. All righty. God bless.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.